right, so today we're going to be looking at 3 different neighborhoods in Windsor, Colorado. Now these are 3 of the best neighborhoods that Windsor has to offer, in my opinion. And I'm going to leave my favorite one to the last. So you want to watch all the way through to get to that last one. But it's going to be based off where I see most of the buyers coming in and their perception of the different neighborhoods. So it's not just my opinion, it's also going to be their opinions as well. So if you're thinking about moving to Windsor, this is going to be helpful for you. So are you thinking of moving to Colorado? Or maybe you already live here and you're thinking of moving out of the big city and into Windsor. If that's you, then you might want to keep watching some of these videos. On this channel, we talk about all things Colorado real estate related. I look at a lot of the different cities and neighborhoods, and I try to pick out the pros and the cons of all of them and try to give as objective a view as possible. If these things interest you, then go ahead, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification to be notified next time I post a video, and hit that thumbs up button if you like this video. Now I get calls from people all the time asking me what life is like here in Colorado or what life is like in certain cities. I love talking to people. I love helping people make decisions, and make no mistake, it's a big decision whether they should or should not move to Colorado or different cities within Colorado. I love helping people make those decisions. So if that's you, give me a call, send me a text, send me an email, send some carrier pigeons out, maybe a smoke signal or 2, whatever it takes. I'd love to talk to you, and I'd love to help you make the biggest decision or a big decision in your life. Now, number 1 on my list, this is Jacoby Farms. Now, Jacobi Farms is a really pretty new neighborhood. It started in 2016, and they really just kind of wrapped things up the last few years. So it's a pretty new neighborhood. Now, it does not have an HOA, which lots of people love, but it does have a metro tax district. So instead of paying HOA fees, you're going to pay additional tax. Part of that goes to maintaining the infrastructure that they have over in Jacobi Farms, one of which is they've got a really nice elementary school that's right tucked up, nestled into the neighborhood. So if you're looking for a place, you've got young kids and they're going to be going to elementary school, this may be a really good option for you. Now the price point for Jacobi Farms, you're looking entry-level house there is going to be about $550, and they'll go up to probably $650, $700 at the very top, but there's a fairly tight range. Most of the houses are very similar in type and style. It's a very nice neighborhood. Like I said before, it's a very new neighborhood, and there's a lot of people moving into this neighborhood because of the elementary school, but then also just because of its proximity to the downtown of Windsor. Because it's really not that far out. It's kind of on the northwest side of Windsor, and it's very close to get to shopping and some of the new restaurants or even the downtown area. So if that's something you're considering or is important to you, and maybe you live and work in Windsor, then this might be the neighborhood for you. Now on the east side of Windsor, still kind of on the north end, we also have Greenspire. Now Greenspire is also a nice neighborhood. It's a little bit older than Jacobi Farms is, but not a whole lot. It was started in 2003, and they're still actually finishing some houses up there now. So there still is a little bit of new construction, not a whole lot. It's pretty well developed. It kind of backs up to one of the lakes there. That being said, most of the houses don't back up into it. However, you do have some access if that's something you enjoy. Again, along with Jacobi Farms, there's no HOA in Greenspire, but there is the Metro Tax District. Now, there's not a whole lot of additional amenities over in Greenspire. There's no elementary school, but you do have the lake, and you have some common area and a park over there as well. And so the Metro Tax District takes care of those things. Now, like I said, this is on the east side, and so if you're working over in Loveland or Fort Collins, it might be a little bit farther for you to get over to those areas. If you're working over in Greeley, it's actually fairly close because you're going to be on that east side of Windsor and going to be a fairly short drive to get to Greeley. So these are just some things to consider if you are thinking of Windsor or working in Greeley and thinking of Windsor to live. It's a great option for you. Now, before I move on, I forgot to tell you what the price of Greenspire was. You're looking about entry level, about $500,000 all the way up to like $750,000. So there's a bit of a spread, especially the houses that back up onto that lake. They're going to be considerably more expensive than the houses internal to that subdivision, but they're all very nice houses over there. Now, to move on, we're going to go to my favorite neighborhood and probably some of my buyers' favorite neighborhood in Windsor, and that is going to be the Water Valley neighborhood. Now, the Water Valley neighborhood is really tucked down into the center of Windsor, but it surrounds kind of these lakes that are in there. And so you have a golf course back there, you have a lot of beach area, and I mean, it's just kind of a lifestyle for a lot of people. In fact, you'll go through there and you'll see more golf carts than you probably will see in some of the Florida developments. It's crazy. They're all over the place. People love to live there and drive their golf carts around, go to the beach, the Colorado beach that is, and go out to eat or do whatever. There's lots of really fun things for people to do. It's really a tight-knit community and people love living there. That being said, there is an HOA, and depending on if you're in a condo or a townhome or a regular detached, will depend on how much that HOA costs, but it does have some options. They have quite a few condos over there, quite a few townhomes over there, and a lot of detached properties over there as well. Now, prices here in Water Valley are going to be considerably more expensive than some of the other areas. You're going to probably start around that $650,000 mark for a regular detached house, and that's just going to be a very plain house, quite a ways away from the lake. The closer you get to the lake, the bigger the houses get and the more expensive things get, and you can push well over $2 million for some of those properties. They're absolutely gorgeous and they're in high demand because a lot of people want to live down there. And like I said before, it is kind of in the heart of Windsor, so you're close to everything. You're close to the downtown, you're close to some of the shopping and some of the boutique shops that are around, and so that's also a nice benefit for people. But by being in the middle of Windsor, it takes a little bit farther to get to Loveland, Fort Collins, and even to Greeley. It's really not that bad. I mean, we're talking like 5 additional minutes instead of 30 minutes. Really a short drive either way, but that's just something to consider. Now, before I wrap this up, I did want to say that in Water Valley, you're still going to be looking at newer houses, but they started that subdivision about 96, and so that's as old of houses as you're probably going to see there. So they are a little bit older than some of the other neighborhoods, but still really not that old, and they're still building over in some of the areas there. So we've going from 96 all the way to 2022. Now, Windsor has so many more awesome neighborhoods, and really depending on what your lifestyle is, what you're looking to get out of the Windsor community will depend on where I recommend you go. So if you still have questions, I encourage you, get a hold of me, talk to me. I'd love to sit down with you and wrestle through some of these decisions that you have to make. And I am also putting in, down in the description below, a relocation guide. If you are thinking of moving to this area, download that. It's packed with useful information, and hopefully it will help you on your journey to make the decision whether you should or should not move to Colorado.